What is happening, my lovely islanders? It is Sydney Island here. That's Island with a Y, not an S. And today we are going to talk about Lilith and the sign of Libra, the sign of the so-called scales, the sign of balance. But is it really balanced when it's involved with Lilith? Before I get into the topic of the video, I would like to let you all know that I do birth chart readings. So hit me up at s.island55@yahoo.com and also follow me on my social medias. Now, I made an introduction video to the Lilith series, just going in depth about Lilith alone. Check that out. It's going to be in the corner somewhere. Now, allow me to go over my usual polls. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that in my astrology videos, go over the poll that I post on my community tab where I ask you all to vote. And in this poll, I asked, out of the fire signs, who do you think is the most sexual and the horniest out of Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries? And not to my surprise, most of y'all voted for Aries, with 46% out of 100, and Sagittarius was the second runner-up and Leo was last. Are any of y'all surprised? Comment below if you were surprised by this, because I'm not surprised. Like, Aries, y'all some freaks. But honestly, I chose fire signs for a reason, because I honestly feel like fire signs are the most sexual. So without further ado, let's get into the topic of the video. Lilith and Libra. So this is going to be somewhat of a difficult placement. I mean, all Lilith placements are difficult, but this one's going to be more difficult when it comes to relationships. And this is difficult because the house of Libra, which is the 7th house, rules relationships and marriage and business partnerships and anyone outside of yourself, right? So those who have a Lilith and Libra struggle when it comes to dealing with other people, which is kind of ironic, right? Because Libra is known to be so socially charismatic, and you know, you get along with everybody and everybody sees you as balanced and you're everybody's best friend, right? Well, you can still have that aspect having Lilith and Libra, for freaking sure. You're extremely charming having a Lilith and Libra. Don't get me wrong. You know how to climb up the social ladder and get what you want and to get your status, raised, through your social charisma. But you could be a shit starter. Sometimes it's on purpose, and other times it's by accident. When it's by accident, it's usually because of your ego. And it's because you have this way about you where you think you can do no wrong. You think that you're like the angel. And so when there's drama popping off, you think to yourself, it definitely ain't me. It's one of y'all. It's the reason why this drama is happening. This beef is going on. This fight's starting. It ain't me. You could be an instigator and not even know it. Somebody who instigates fights, instigates gossip, and you don't even know it. And there are times when you do know it. There are times when you instigate gossip and drama, and you do it just for attention, and you do it for entertainment, and you do it to get yourself higher up in the social ladder. With this placement, when it comes to relationships, since this is pretty much what Libra is all about, you really struggle here in the sense that you lose your identity when you become a part of a significant relationship. If you're in love with somebody and you're in a relationship with them, you have a tendency to forget who you are. If you even had a sense of self in the first place, which a lot of times Lilith and Libra people start off pretty much not knowing who they are or not really having a strong sense of self. So you kind of live through your partner, who typically has a bigger personality than you. With this placement, you have a tendency to, because Lilith is more of the darker manifestation of Lilith, it's the corruption of the zodiac sign, it's more of the negative, darker sides of your personality, and the darker aspects of whatever that sign represents. So in relationships, things may be a little bit dark for you. And you may have a tendency to manifest partners who are very controlling, or partners who don't take you seriously, and they cheat, and they just don't take that commitment seriously. You really crave relationships, okay? Having a Lilith in Libra, you really crave having a partner. Or like some type of lover, or just some type of romantic attention. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a relationship with a title. It could just be you wanting some type of romantic attention, but usually you want a title. Usually you want that commitment. But you have a tendency to sabotage your relationships. They have a tendency to want relationships so bad, but then they sabotage those relationships a lot of times with their insecurities, and then they end up not ever getting married. which is crazy because this is Libra. This is the sign of marriage. But Lilith is here. The darkness is here in your marriage. So it's like, and I don't want y'all to get discouraged, because you can have a good marriage with this placement. You just have to work a little bit harder than everybody else when it comes to your relationships. Okay? And you really, above all, have to work on finding that love for yourself, because the root of your relationship issues is typically you not valuing yourself. And you allow partners into your life that cheat on you, that disrespect you, that pretty much make your life a living hell because you don't think you deserve better. So with Lilith and Libra, there's a lot of issues with how you perceive yourself. A lot of the times, the perception of yourself is always intertwined with everybody else, because this is the sign of other. So it's hard for you to just have a single perception of yourself aside from how everybody else views you, you know? And I can talk about this, like run on and on and not even look at my dang notes, because I have a Libra moon, so I get it, okay? So I don't have a Lilith in Libra, but I do have a Libra moon. And I kind of understand that Libra energy because it's in my sign of like my subconscious and my hidden self and all that good stuff. All right, let me look at my notes now. Indecision, let's talk about that. Libra is known to be super indecisive. So if you have a Lilith in Libra, you can be extremely indecisive about everything. Like you literally have a chronic indecision, you know, a deep fear of making decisions because you're afraid of making the wrong decision. Because you hear that Virgo is a perfectionist, but we don't really talk about how Libra can be a perfectionist as well. Libra can be a perfectionist, but more so when it comes to their appearance and when it comes to their image. So you always try to be perfect. You always want to be perfect to everybody. You know, you always want to be perceived as like the beautiful woman or the handsome man. So you work really hard to come off as attractive to people, and you're drawn to positions that make you look good. A lot of people with a Lilith in Libra are drawn to the public eye because they need that praise and they need that attention from other people, kind of similar to a Lilith and Leo, where Lilith and Leo just needs that gratification and they just need that attention from the outside world. Please ignore that splotch of eczema right here in my face. But they need that attention. Lilith and Leo. Lilith and Libra is the same way, but Lilith and Leo is more like, I know I'm the shit. Like, I need the attention because I'm all of that. Lilith and Libra is more like, I'm not sure if I'm this shit, and I need to get that gratification from people for them to tell me that I'm this shit, okay? Lilith and Libra can, you know, be underneath it all very insecure, okay? And they may come off as the most confident person under the sun. I mean, they make great spokespeople, you know, they come off as very confident. They're very well spoken and very charismatic, very charming, and they can be very sophisticated in front of the cameras and all of that, and they're like the perfect newscaster, right? But they're actually quite insecure because they need relationships to feel good about themselves. On their own, they feel like they're not good. They feel like they're no good on their own. With this placement, you have a tendency to tirelessly put yourself into public relations and things that involve the public, to a point where you have a tendency to neglect your relationship life. You're so much about your career involving the public and being a part of group associations, you know, things that just have something to do with everybody else. But then when it comes to your own private life, you have a tendency to neglect that. And I'm thinking about Oprah Winfrey, you know, how she's all in the media doing all of this great stuff, but you don't really hear much about her being married or her boyfriend or whatever. And that's the situation, you know, with Lilith and Libra. You have a tendency to build up this image of yourself, and you're really good at it. You're really good at getting to the top and being, you know, at a higher status, and everybody looking at you like, wow, like this person's awesome, or this person's so successful, blah, 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 blah. But then when it comes to your private life, somebody goes into your home and it's nothing but chaos, or loneliness is one of the two. Because when it comes to relationships, this is the place where there's the most chaos. This is the place where there's the most drama. And it's crazy being a Libra, you who don't really even like conflict and drama, has it the most in your relationship life and in your home life. And another aspect of Lilith and Libra is you having a really big ego that you need to keep in check, you know. A lot of times Libras can be a bit vain and a bit superficial and self-centered. And with this placement, you can get so wrapped up in yourself and your image and how you want the world to perceive you that you have a tendency to neglect other people, yet still you want people to come to you and try to be in a relationship with you, and you want all this attention from people, but sometimes you don't really give the attention to people that you want, that you want them to give to you. Okay, so be careful with that. Your ego, with Libra, it's a scale, so you're always trying to balance your ego versus your soul, right? So with Lilith and Libra on the dark end, more often than not, that superficial aspect of you, that egotistical aspect of you, have a tendency to take over, right? And it makes you hard to be in a relationship with. And more often than not, this ego is just to cover up how insecure you really feel about yourself. Having a Lilith and Libra, you have this deep, deep desire and need for love, but you also have a fear of commitment. And that's when the self-sabotaging aspect comes into it. And having a Libra moon, I totally get it. Especially when I was younger, I used to be like, I want a boyfriend, I want a girlfriend, I want to be in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But then as soon as somebody would come my way, I would be like, nope, there's too many flaws. I was very picky, you know what I mean? And Lilith and Libra can be like that, where they want a relationship so bad, but then they find problems in their partner or problems in the relationship that may not really exist, just so they can have a reason to like push that person away and not be in a relationship. And more often than not is a fear that their partner will see something wrong in them, something wrong in them. They think that they're too flawed. Underneath it all, they think that they have too many flaws and they're not good enough, and they don't want a person to get too close to see those flaws because they're really hard on themselves. That's a secret of Libra. In the moon, in the sun, in the Lilith, Libra energy, you can be really hard on yourself because you're a perfectionist and you want people to like see you as this beautiful, perfect person. Beauty is so important to you because planet Venus rules Libra, and that's the planet of beauty and love and relationships. Beauty is really important to you, and when you don't feel beautiful, and oftentimes you don't feel beautiful enough, you don't feel good enough a lot of the times, you have this insatiable need for love. And it's like no matter how much love and attention you get, you feel like it's just not enough, and it's because you're not giving that love to yourself enough. A lot of times it's like this empty space inside of you where you're just trying to fill it up with all this attention, all the money, all the glitz, all the glam, and just the higher status, and you try to fill that hole up. And it's because you're not filling that hole up with self-love. You're not filling that hole up with self-awareness and self-acceptance. And that is a huge issue with Libra. You're the opposite sign of Aries. Aries is the sign of the self. Me, the sign of me, right? And Libra has a similar issue where they have a tendency to make things about themselves, but it's harder to spot than with Aries. It's like obvious that Aries is talking about themselves. It's obvious that Aries refers the conversation back to themselves. It's obvious that Aries is like, oh, me, I'm the shit. But Libra is more subtle. It's harder to spot. And it usually manifests, your me first kind of attitude usually manifests in drama with, your relationships with other people. And it's something that you don't even know is there until someone spots it out. Until someone's like, you know what, Lilith and Libra, you only think about yourself. You try to act like you're for the people, but you're really only for yourself. People may say that to you having a Lilith and Libra. People who have a Lilith and Libra, more often than not, are very physically beautiful to the public. And they can move their way up to the top, weasel their way on up to the top with their good looks. These are the people that sometimes they make it to the top just by being attractive and not really by being intelligent or not by being someone who is really skilled or talented at anything. They just made it to the top because people like to look at them. I think about Kim Kardashian, and I'm not saying she's not intelligent. That's not what I'm saying. Apparently she's going to law school and she's doing her thing. I don't know anything about her. But a lot of people feel that they feel that she doesn't deserve the platform that she has because they feel that she's not really a good role model for young women, and that's a classic Lilith and Libra. She got to the top, and I remember there was a quote that she said. She was like, her body is a business or something like that. Yeah, she was like, this is a business, talking about her physical body, pretty much just like, this is how I make my money. My body. And a lot of people think about like prostitution when you say something like that. I'm not calling Kim K a prostitute because I don't know anything about this woman. I don't watch the Kardashians. I don't keep up with the Kardashians. I'm just saying what I've seen in the media. And these people have a tendency to get to the top using their bodies. You know, that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. They get to the top by using their good looks, but not by really like having a lot of talent. A lot of times people envy them and they look at them like in a negative way, like, y'all gave the platform to her. Like, yeah, like she, you know, may have worked for that platform, but it doesn't really seem that way because she's made it so much about her appearance that people wouldn't even assume that she had any hard work that had anything to do with her mind, right? But keep in mind, Lilith and Libra people can be very clever. You know, you may think that they're, you know, just selling their bodies for fame, but I'm pretty sure they have some type of business-like mindset that got them to where they are, because Libra is very clever. This is an air sign, okay? Air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra are the most intellectual signs, and sometimes the most intelligent and the most clever. So you better believe that someone who have a Lilith and Libra is very intelligent and very clever, and they're very aware of what they're doing. They're very aware of the impact that their image is having on the public, and they use that to their advantage. They understand how to work the masses, you know, they understand how to work, you know, an audience, and how to draw people in, and how to get people's attention. And a lot of times it is with beauty, because this is the sign of beauty. They understand beauty, right? They know how to look good. They know what looks good to people, and they use that to their advantage to get to the top. And a lot of times it makes people look at them like they're shallow. You know, sometimes they get to the top by, you know, doing something that's not so, you know, what's the word? Something that, you know, isn't so upstanding. You know, they get to the top. You know, we all know Kim K, you know, her sex tape is part of the reason why she's so big, right? And, you know, and don't come for me, Kim K fans. I don't know a lot about her. I'm not saying that she don't have nothing to offer. Like, I don't know anything about her. It's like, you get to the top with things that may not be becoming because you don't really care about that. You just want to get to the top. You just want people to see you as attractive. You know, so it can be a bit shallow. You can be very, very shallow having a Lilith and Libra. And you use the most shallow things, you know, to show off. You know, Lilith and Libra people can, you know, be a little bit of show-offs at times. And they can come off as fake. And, like, they can come off like they don't have a lot of depth, even when they do. Okay, so, woo, I really went into Lilith and Libra, baby. Aha! That is all I have for you today. Give this video a thumbs up, please. Those thumbs ups really help me. And also subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my second channel, which is more my beauty, fashion channel. I'm going to be posting some funny story times to that channel as well. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button so you can get uploads for each and every one of my videos. Bye-bye, loves.